Good afternoon. On behalf of the National Chapters Committee, led by Elvis Herman Essay, I welcome everybody here, the press especially, because the National Chapters Committee is holding this press conference today concerning issues of our dear club, Accra House of Folk. So before we start, I would like us to dedicate the program into the hands of our Almighty God. So I think we all join me. We are going to sing and pray before the program. Thank you. Asida ina Yehudi Jesus Yebo tenti nyami ayi ina Yehudi Jesus Yeko chemi yaban kesi O nyami zawaye dosun wado tinaye tasi asida ninaye uzi Jesus yebeka zawaya chiramai Jesus Yebebozing uradada Ebotentim yaban kesini Asida Yahudio Asida Yina Yeuzi Jesus Yebeboding uradada Ekotenti yaba kesini. Please, we are coming to pray. Let us all be in the spirits. Daddy Lord, we thank you, we give you glory, we give you praise. Daddy Lord, this moment we acknowledge your presence here with us. Daddy Lord, we thank you for all that you are doing for our Club Accra House of Folk, the press, the nation Ghana. Father, we are here this afternoon to see to the way forward of our Club Accra House of Folk. Father, we commit the program unto your hand. Come and take your seats, and Father, deliberate on the whole program, and after we have finished, we'll give you the glory and honor. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Amen. Oh, say yeah. Oh, say Asofos mashe bodiyo. Gaje nyaho tamaklo yinofe. Asofos mashe bodiyo. Kuni yeli po. Asofos mashe bodiyo. Glorious Asofos, our mother clap, our father clap. Red, yellow, and green is our colors. Beautiful and glorious. Oh, glorious. Oh, we will build a great foundation with our colors. Red, yellow, and blue house is a mighty. Oh, house 11 is a As 11 is a mighty. Oh, arose. Be quiet and don't be silly. We are the famous house of folks. We never say that. Thank you. Before I hand over the mic to my chairman, I would like to introduce our able men and women who are at the high table. From my right is Mr. Anson. He is the National Chapters Committee Organizer. Please, you can raise your National Organizer, the NCC Organizer. The next is our Financial Controller, Mrs. Gifty Joanna Adi. The next is Hajia, our only Hajia, Zainab. Deputy Secretary. You see how she's going around writing. Then on my left is Fuseni Moro from the Executive Phobia family. The next is our former General Secretary, Maxwell Yao Asabre. Then the next is our Deputy PR, Kasim Awal, the chairman of Chapter O. Myself, Vicentia Kafui Deku, second vice of the National Chapters Committee. To introduce my chairman, my chairman, Elvis Heyman Hesse, the National Chapters Committee Chairman. Chairman, these are the press and your colleagues, the National Chapters Committee. I hand over the mic to you.
Thank you very much, my dearest Mamaga. But actually, you failed to acknowledge some other important dignitaries around. You know we don't joke with our chapters. I can see somewhere Mimi Ko, who is a deputy organizer of the Greater Accra Regional Chapters Committee. Mimi Ko, if you're around, please stand for us to acknowledge you. Sorry. Then I can also see our brother Ni Adama Ankra of the famous Chapter 89. If you are there. They are becoming unbecoming. These Chapter 89 people, they are becoming unbecoming. I can say authoritatively that in the last 2 years, they are the most vibrant chapter. Undoubtedly. Chapter 89. Kudos to you. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of Auntie Gladys of our dear and famous Accra of Folk Ladies. Farouk is also part of my own chapter. Whether I'm still there or I'm with Adenta, I don't even know now. But but we used to be at the Adaraka chapter 50, at Adaraka chapter 17. Langwe is also with us at Adaraka. All protocol observed. Thank you once again. Let me be very frank that we don't joke with the media at all. You are one of our best stakeholders, and we thank all of you for leaving your busy schedules to be here with us. From Sunday till today, a lot has been happening in our dear club, Accra Heart of Oak. Yesterday, our board held a press conference. We were supposed to have done our press conference on Monday, but for circumstances beyond our control, we have to postpone it today. Actually, we are not here to delay your time. Our press briefing is very short. Then we allow you to ask questions. We believe that the power is in your hands, and therefore we will make our presentation very short. Then we allow you to do your questions. Thank you very much for coming, the media. So first of all, the National Chapters Committee of Accra Heart of Oak, the National Chapters Committee, on behalf of our supporters across the world, would like to apologize to the National Sports Authority, the Ghana Football Association, and the entire football fraternity for the unfortunate incident that occurred at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday, 16th October 2022, after our CAF configuration match against Real Bamako of Mali. The committee want to state emphatically that we do not subscribe to violence of any kind, and therefore condemns the behavior of a section of our supporters who went on rampage and vandalized the vehicle belonging to a board member of our club. The NCC will entreat all supporters of our dear club to channel their grievances using lawful and legitimate avenues, such as peaceful demonstrations, protests, petitions, and press conferences. The NCC further monitored the press conference of our board of directors yesterday, and we wish to express our displeasure over the posture of the board chairman in support of Mr. Odotei and Alhaji Akambi, and refusing to acknowledge the role of the supporters, especially during the 2021-2022 league season, which Accra Heart of Oak won 5 trophies and won everything on the local scene. It's unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. Yesterday, we did not hear our board chairman acknowledge this, and we are just shocked, because many of you, the media, will attest to the fact the role of the supporters at the Liberty Sports Stadium when we came from 1-0 down and won that match by 2-1. If you remember very well, how the supporters were chanting for 90 minutes, and yet our role was never acknowledged yesterday by our board chairman. That is very unfortunate. We are considering the full impact and meaning of the text of the conference, and wish to state that we will come out deal with our response in the press statement very soon. Very soon. The board press conference was yesterday. We've not had enough time, so we want to take our time, and we are assuring the media that very soon we will come out. However, the media can ask any question pertaining to the press conference, and we shall respond here and now. We ask our noble, respectful, and reliable supporters to remain calm whilst we pursue legitimate means to have their grievances settled. So our supporters who are watching, who are listening to us, kindly remain calm. The NCC is very capable. We've been in existence for so many years, and we know how to handle these issues. So please remain calm as we continue to demand the best for you. Thank you very much. The floor is now open for the media. We told you we're not going to waste your time. We've made it brief. We'll go back and have a meeting on Saturday, and at the appropriate time, we will issue a comprehensive statement on the board's press conference yesterday. thank you very much. And I want to thank my executives for their support, for our General Secretary, who is currently absent because he's not well. We wish him well. We wish him speedy recovery. Thank you very much. Okay. Please, media, before you ask your questions, we would also like to acknowledge the presence of Madam Rita Odotei of the National Sports Authority. And we want to thank Professor a lot for granting us audience and allowing us to use this facility. Thank you very much, Professor Chumesi. Okay. Yes, forgive me. I think my General Secretary just reminded me that many of you would want to know about the speculations in the social media and also in our traditional media pertaining to what happened between myself and Mr. Odotei last Sunday. I want to state emphatically that I was provoked by Mr. Odotei because he had a misunderstanding with some section of our supporters. And I went into the fray to separate the two of them. In fact, one of our executives were involved in the person of Odotei, popularly known as Sabato. On my return, I resumed my seat at the front row of the VVIP Presidential Lounge. Honorable was seated, or Mr. Odotei was seated about 50 meters away from me. He charged on me and demanded that I go and talk to the supporters from threatening them. I told him that that is not the time to do that. In fact, I made it clear to him that it is not in my power to tell supporters what to say and what not to say, especially looking at the situation. I think you saw the video. So please, for many of you who knows who I am, and for many of you who knows me very well, you know I'm not that type of a person. It was Mr. Odotei who charged on me and demanded that I go and talk to the supporters who are threatening him. Ideally, there were security operatives all over the VVIP area. And many of you will bear me witness that if somebody threatens you, the right procedure to use is to identify the person and then call the security to apprehend the person. It is not the duty of the NCC chairman to control the behavior of over 20,000 supporters at the Accra Sports Stadium. In fact, let me also put on record that their newly appointed liaison officer, his mandate, as part of his mandate, we were told that he is supposed to coordinate all stadium activities. So if there was somebody who should have talked to the supporters, then it could have been the newly appointed liaison officer and not myself or any of my executives. Yet, we do not encourage any of our supporters to repeat what happened the last time. Please channel your grievances through us so that we use legitimate means to address your concerns. Thank you. If any of the executives would like to say something. Okay, so I wanted to make it brief, but I have been reminded. Yes, Mr. Odotei reported me to the police. There is also media speculation that it was the police that invited me. The police is not afraid of me to tell me that they are inviting me because they have evidence or they have videos of me doing one thing or the other. But the police was very specific to me. And I have my own, and it is my right to demand why I was invited. And in fact, they told me that it was Mr. Odotei who reported me, and my charges simply was that I incited supporters against him. So I want the media to put it on record today that this was the information I got to the police, that Mr. Odotei reported me that I incited the police. Therefore, yesterday we reported and we've asked the police to proceed to court so that Mr. Odotei will produce video evidence or any other evidence pertaining to whether I incited the supporters or not. We have asked police to do that yesterday because we believe that we will never encourage our supporters to do that. And therefore, yesterday, personally, I categorically told the police officer handling the case that he should kindly proceed to court so that whatever evidence is there, they should bring it before me and my executives. And if we are punished, that is fair. If you come out, that is fair. Thank you very much. Questions, please. Or any of the executives would like to say something? Okay.
Good afternoon, the media. I am not currently an executive of the National Chapters Committee. I happen to have been the General Secretary before, and my presence here is to do one or two things. The reason why supporters of Accra House of Folk are being taken for granted gradually is that we have sat through for the NCC to lose or shed some of the authority and power that they wield. And some of us, as long as we live, will help to position the NCC as the bulwark of freedom and democracy in the club to maintain its status as the strongest pillar behind Accra House of Folk Sporting Club Limited. My presence here is to offer my unflinching support to the NCC and to help them grow, to become the once formidable organ of the club. Without the supporters, Accra House of Folk is dead. And we are not going to sit down to allow the leadership of the NCC to be fragmented and disrespected in order to further the ambitions and other, prospects of any individual in the club. I am by this note urging all fans of Accra House of Folk, every supporter should come out and come behind the NCC for us to build a very formidable front. The NCC is the soul and heart of Accra House of Folk. We used to have several organs in the club. They are all extinct or near extinction. We used to have Council of Patrons, it is dead. We used to have Ahupa, Vibrant Ahupa, it is also almost dead. We don't hear from them. And we are not going to sit down for the NCC to also go the same way. You are a member and a part of the NCC as a House of Folk supporter. When it comes to NCC elections, all of you should participate. Don't leave it to a section of the supporters and later come to blame anybody for a weak leadership. Perhaps, as you are hearing me, if you could have come up to take a position in the NCC, it would have helped us to build the NCC that we are all craving for. So I'm here to support my brothers. During the elections, Chairman knows very well that I was not in his camp. All members here know that I was not in anybody's camp. My camp lost at all. And you know the reason why we lost. Because people didn't want Pastor Asabre and his colleagues to take up the mantle in order to come, so they said, to disturb us. But I am gradually seeing the man in our chairman, the NCC chairman that I want to see. Previously, I was not seeing it. So I stayed backstage. But I can see that the vibrancy in him is now coming up. And that is what is required of an NCC executive or chairman to do. Number two, I don't want to bother you with how House of Folk supporters became organized for the first time by Mr. Isikwe so many years ago. And I am glad that they had that wisdom to put House of Folk supporters together in an organized form called chapters. And there is a structure right from the district chapters committee to the regional chapters committee up to the national chapters committee, whose membership, some of them are here. It has evolved itself over the years and has proven to be the real backbone and the spirit behind Accra House of Folk. So no House of Folk supporters should underestimate the power and authority that the NCC wields in decision making in this club. Now, I spoke or protested against the flotation of shares. It is tried knowledge, everybody knows it. Soon after the shares, we have seen how our club is being governed. We have two parts, infrastructure and on-field achievements. I regret to announce that for the 12 years, take COVID period out, take normalization out, 10 years. Apart from last year that we won the league and everything, the last 3 years, the best position Accra House of Folk has taken is third position. We have never even been second before in 10 years now. And that is not the Accra House of Folk that every supporter loves to support. This is what we are putting before the board. That you have put some people there who are not performing to the satisfaction of the fans. Please take them out, replace them for House of Folk to make progress. You all know what came out of the press conference yesterday from our board chairman. I don't want to elaborate on that. But on the evidence of all that we have known or we have seen that if you don't wake up, the club will not achieve anything on field. I'll rest my statement here and allow you to pose the questions. The course of the questions, I think if I have any contribution to make for that, I will do. Thank you very much.
Okay, so your questions are welcome, and let me also put on record that we will share with you our press statements. So most of you will get it in PDF. Thank you very much. Please, the floor is open. You can direct your questions to me, Mr. Sabri, or any of the executives. Thank you very much. Question time. Okay. Now, let me start from Ohinibam. Oh, okay. Yes, please. On the far right.
My name is Nicholas from Radio Good.
Need the mic.
My name is Nicholas from Radio Good. What has been the relationship between the NCC and the board chairman, that is Mr. Odotei? What has been the relationship? How would you describe it? Board member, sorry. How would you describe the relationship between the NCC and Mr. Odotei? Thank you.
Okay, let's take 3 questions, then we answer them.
My name is Isaac. I'm from Adra Television. Majority of the supporters want the board chairman to sack Honorable Odotei and Elijah Kambi, but you have not presented anything to the board chairman. Let's say you put something on paper and present it to the board chairman that maybe this is the reason, 1, 2, 3 reasons. Stand on it and sack Honorable Odotei and Elijah Kambi. Why don't you have anything put on paper so that you present it to the board chairman so that the board chairman can stand on it and sack them?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Odotei Banko Brina from Happy FM. I have about 10 questions for this executives, but I'll make it brief. I've listened to you present your statement, but I'm struggling to get to understand the position of the NCC in the grand scheme of things. Yes, we know something happened on Sunday. Is that why we are here in the press conference? Are there more detailed reasons why what happened on Sunday happened? What do you want as NCC to happen? What do you want to see happen? Of course, we also heard in a very spirited defense of Akambi and Odotei, and these are the two characters that have been mentioned throughout all this confusion and chaos. What are the reasons why you believe the board and its chairman should not work with these two individuals? 2, do you think that there's an end in sight in the confusion between the NCC and the board? What are the steps the NCC is taking to make sure that you mend this bridge to come together as a family? I know there are genuine concerns. I know you guys have your genuine reasons why there's this disconnect. But don't you also agree with me that the further this drags, the bigger the problem, or the burden of hardship then falls on us to focus as a club, and the numerous supporters you need than the individuals yourself, the NCC, and the board? What is the measures you're putting in place to come together as a family, irrespective of differences? I have extra 2 questions, but I'll hold on and come back later.
Okay, thank you. I would like to answer that for any Brian. Okay, so the first person wanted to know the relationship between the NCC and Mr. Odotei, isn't it? Okay. So until last Sunday, I can speak for myself that I don't know about other executives, okay? But I can speak for myself that until last Sunday, I don't have issue with Mr. Odotei. I even remember that about a month ago, he called me. He called me and wanted me to draw a plan for us to organize a rally in Kumasi. So I was really shocked when he charged on me that day. I had a very good relationship with him, even though you must admit that we are not friends, okay? It's only football that brings us together, but we were not fighting. I can't talk further. So that's my answer for the first question, if it's clear. Okay. The second one. Okay. So the second one is, has the NCC presented anything to the board? A little over 3 months ago, the NCC presented a letter to the board requesting humbly to meet the board to discuss issues that, is of interest to our supporters. We made a follow-up through the administrator at the secretariat, but I think our efforts yielded no results until now. So if you ask me, I hope I've answered your question. Yes, indeed, the NCC some few months ago, or let me say a little over 3 months ago, wrote to the board, not even a reply. We have not received a reply, not verbally or on paper. So I hope I've set the record straight, please. Okay, the next one. So somebody asked a question about what happened on Sunday, our position. I think that was for Unibrena, isn't it?
No, I didn't ask a question. I'm trying to find out what necessitated that and what you are doing to get us to understand, better appreciate the...
Very, very good question from Unibrena. What necessitated that? Okay. I may not be able to identify all that necessitated that though, but I can say that prior to the match or before the match, I think that we all raised the expectations of the supporters. It's on record that even one of our board members, Elijah Kambi, said on radio that the board is going to use all ways and means to ensure qualification for Accra Hearts of Oak. This was from our board member. We, the supporters, were also excited, and we also went on radio, we went on national television, calling on our supporters to come to the stadium because we knew victory was awaiting us. So if you ask me, maybe one of the factors that necessitated what happened last Sunday could be that. Yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, please. Or you want me to? Yeah, what all I mean is that the expectations were high. You see, we played against a team like Real Bamako. We thought that this was our West African neighbors, unlike the North Africans, and for that matter, they were small fly. We could overcome easily. Okay, even though we lost by 3-0, we were so optimistic that we can overcome that team. And also, like I said, one of our board members was on national radio saying that they were going to use all possible ways and means to ensure qualification. We, the supporters leaders, also went on radio and on TV, okay, requesting our supporters to troop to the stadium because we thought victory was coming. So I thought it was the expectation. The supporters could not phantom why we lost that game. I thought that was the reason. So, okay, I think somebody also asked that we requested, the supporters were saying Odotei and Akambi should go, and the board chairman was not ready. Did somebody ask?
No, I'm saying that you guys want the two out.
Yeah.
But the board chairman is insisting that you work with them.
Okay.
Now, what's your position on what the board chairman said? And in going forward, are you going to work with Odotei and Akambi as they still remain as board members and will do the daily duties from the board chairman?
Yeah, we stated in our statement clearly that we were not happy with the position of the board chairman. We thought that press conference yesterday would have invited the NCC and other stakeholders, okay, for us to provide reasons internally before coming into the media. But it's unfortunate that his posture was such that it didn't look like they were leaving today or tomorrow. His posture was such that they were the best in the whole wide world. And that is why we stated in our statement that we don't want to rush. There are other avenues. If we request and the board chairman says no, it wouldn't end there. The NCC is a very powerful organ. We want to go back to the table. We'll be meeting on Saturday. We are not relenting, okay? We will use every legitimate means to ensure that the right people are put in their right positions to work for our dear club.
Let me add that as the board chairman, we want to know the position of Mr. Odotei and Akambi, what role they play for the club. Because it looks like they are ministers without portfolio, so you can't ask them for accountability. So even if we're talking about performance, you can't talk to Odotei as to what role he played as a board member. Whether they are board members, they are management members, we don't know the difference. It's like they are playing both roles. So we want him to clearly tell us what they do, so that if we want accountability, we know who to ask and at what time. Because now it looks like he's running a structure that we don't even understand. Decisions are taken by 3 people, and Accra House of Folk is bigger than that. So we need to know the structure we are playing. It is not the entire board that takes decision. I read something from their press yesterday that Akambi, Mr. Elijah Akambi and Mr. Odotei are his trusted people. We don't have any problem with that, but we want to know what they do. Does he give them targets? How does he assess them? Because if you are saying they are so far performing so well, we want to know what they have been able to achieve that we, the supporters, don't know. Because at the end of the day, he will pay them, and that goes into Accra House of Folk debts.
there's a new coach in town. The NCC, we don't know anything about him as to what his performance contract is going to be. We don't know. How do we assess him? How do we assess his performance? And looking at his records, I don't think he has performed better than our former coach, Willie. So we want to know what went into that, bringing in a coach. And honestly, last week Sunday, supporters were very mad because we were going into an African game competition. And for that matter, every serious club will plan towards that. You don't sack your coach 1 week into going into an African game. And you also saw the performance. I don't know how long that coach trained with the boys before he made his selection for the game. We came back home. The same coach playing such a game decided to start with players who have never even played Premiership before and benching experienced players that even if you are not a follower of football, you know those boys cannot do anything for the club. And so that brought the anger. So if you were here at the stadium as a lay person sitting at the stands, the moment the boys were walking into the pitch, we knew what was going to happen. And so these are some of the things. So we want to know what the coach is going to be paid, how much he's going to be paid, what is the contract between Accra House of Hope and the new coach, so that when it starts, we can ask for accountability. Thank you.
You see, before I give the microphone to Mr. Sabri, many of you media people thought that when we lose matches, then we go gay. No, Accra House of Hope is a serious club. And let me emphasize that just this week, TP Mazembe, sacked all its management members for failing to enter the group stages. This is a serious club. We are here praising our own for not being able to qualify. People went to Mali and took per diems. Yes, they don't earn remunerations, but they take per diems. All those monies will be accounted for, and it is the crowd of foot supporters. Yes, somebody is investing his money, but eventually somebody will pay for it. So when it is made to look as if they are voluntarily working for the club without remuneration, no, they also earn something. Let us all be frank. Look, the supporters who came to the stadium last Sunday, do you know the sacrifices the NCC and the RCCs made? We were not even recognized in yesterday's presser. We were not recognized. Look, some of us and some of my colleagues seated here woke up 4 a.m. So if Elijah Kambi goes to Kobiman 6 a.m., we 4 a.m. we were looking for buses. Thank you very much, national organizer. The pictures are on social media. 4 a.m. I called the national organizer. Some of us used our personal vehicles to convey phobia tertiary from the University of Ghana. So we all made sacrifices. And that is why in the statement we said that we are so much I don't know which words to use because I want to be very careful, But we feel very disappointed that our role was not recognized yesterday. It's so unfortunate that we were on radio using our own fuel. In fact, we entered into the NCC account to buy tickets free of charge to supporters. Some people like Dr. Randy Abbey contributed money, Executive Phobia Family, Phobia Fire for Fire. All these people were not recognized yesterday. But the two people, in the words of the board chairman, they are rare to find. I love that phrase. When they say people are rare to find, it means their kind is not anywhere in the world. So we just pray that they will exist forever. We just pray that with them, we are going to win trophies every season. We just pray that with the two of them, we are going to achieve preeminence. Like we keep repeating in every statement, preeminence. We love that word. We love the preeminence. We are raising the bar. For those who are listening to us, Accra Heart of Oak is a special club. The National Chapters Committee is a special committee. We raise the bar. We are Oliver Twist, okay? Yes, we acknowledge the beautiful infrastructure, and we must commend the board chairman and the board for those beautiful infrastructure. But this morning, I heard Mr. Masola Sabri mention on radio. Where is WAFA? Please, media people, where is WAFA? Are they not on relegation? Don't they have facilities? Are they not a small club? But they had facilities before we. Many clubs in Africa that is not of our stature and standard has got these facilities that we are talking about. Obviously, facilities alone and infrastructure is not football. We want to make it clear that we acknowledge the infrastructural work, but look, we are competing with our rivals in Ghana, and we want to compete with our fellow clubs like Al Ahly, WAC of Morocco, and others. And that is why we will always demand that Accra Heart of Oak is winning on the pitch. We would not appreciate the fact that teams like Real Bamako will come to Accra and eliminate us. No, that is not the standard of Accra Heart of Oak. When WAC eliminated us last season, there was no noise. So please, our dear board chairman, our dear Mr. Kambi and Mr. Odotei, henceforth, we are demanding a lot because we've been told that your kind is not anywhere on earth unless in heaven. Thank you very much.
There's one thing that I want all of us to realize. If you could recall, in the last, I think we have not won a match in the last eight matches or so. Nine. This is the 10th one. So, if you take a look from when we started losing matches, that started the pent-up feeling among the supporters. Now, there was somebody to blame for those losses, isn't it? So we found a convenient scapegoat in Coach Wodu to be sacrificed. Mind you, how supporters are divided. There are those who think that Wodu has achieved so much for us within a short time, and therefore they will support him to continue. There are others, without any reason, also hell-bent on sacking Coach Wodu. In fact, the sacking of Coach Wodu was supposed to happen immediately after Hearts and Bechem AFA Cup match in Kumasi. We are all aware the background machinations that they did in order for Wodu to lose, to give it a reason for him to be sacked. God bless, he won the match and won the FA Cup. So the question of Wodu has been lingering among the supporters for quite a long time. There has been several debates for and pro Wodu. So now, over the years, anytime Hearts is not performing, they put the blame on our coaches. So coaches have been fired, coaches have been hired, coaches have been fired, coaches have been hired. Yet, Hearts of Oak is not seeing progress. So now the supporters were asking themselves, if a coach is not performing and he sacks, and we are not making progress, what could be the second reason for us not performing? Think aloud. Is the second reason the management of the club, to the extent that they can see a coach who is not performing, but they cannot see a management that is not performing? They can see it. They have an eye for a coach who is not performing. Papic came, he went away. Somebody came, he went away. Wodu came, he won the league, he won the FA Cup, he won special within 1 year, 5 cups. The following season, it is not doing well. They have the eye to see that Wodu cannot take us far, so he should be fired, and he's fired. If he has been fired and we cannot progress, what could be the second reason why we are not progressing? Have we taken a look at the management style, the organogram of Hearts of Oak management style? We all know the board chairman is a very busy person, Very busy. Today he's in Congo, tomorrow he's in Morocco. He has several businesses that he has turned into. And yet, he says he's the executive board chairman. The acting CEO means that the executive board chairman, the explanation is that he is acting CEO. He is the chairman of the club at the management level. So if he's out of the country, Odotei and Akambi are the ones that he gives the team to. And almost invariably, if you consider the performance of House of Folk on the field, we are not talking about Toby Man, that is flooded or not flooded. No. We are talking of on-field performance. If these two gentlemen, who are rare breed in the whole wide world, we have not seen such human beings before. If these two gentlemen are put in charge in the absence of the board chairman in the country, and the performance they put up together with the technical team, we have all realized the technical team is not good. So let's dispense with them. They're gone. Body is history. What about the management that is taking decisions, day-to-day decisions in the club? That is not making us to win matches on the field. So, House of Folk supporters are not saying that Akambi is or what. No. All that we are trying to say is that the management structure of House of Folk is not helping us to win matches on the field. That is all that we are saying. And therefore, if you can tinker with the technical team, why don't you tinker a little with the management? That is all the supporters are asking for. That is all support. Why? We appointed Fred Kessel as our managing director for 2 years. For 2 years. He never took salary from anybody. So it is possible that we can get a spirited House of Folk supporter who can be an MD who will not take salary. We can get it.
Plenty.
You understand it? So it is not that people are rare breed and we cannot have their size for any in the world. And therefore, if they go, House of Folk will collapse. No. The point is that, board chairman, if you are listening to me, all that the supporters are saying is that remove these two gentlemen. They are already board members. We are not saying they shouldn't be board members. They can be board members. But at the management level, day-to-day administration of the club, please remove them, replace them with other people, and let's see whether we can make progress. Otherwise, this coach who has come, they have eyes to see a bad coach. So they will see a bad coach in this coach. He will also be fired. And the same people.
It's a press conference. So we don't want to be doing more of the talking, okay? We want the press to do more. So press, if you have questions, kindly come. Please ask your questions. Feel free.
Ask your question.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Bernard from CTFM. So officially, I want to know the stand of the fans on the position of Samuel Boyd. Do you want him back, or he should still be out of the way? No, I mean officially.
Thank you. My name is Joe Odotei, Director Italia for Power FM and XYZ TV. What I want to ask is that it appears the two parties, I mean the fans and then the board, and the Papa board discord. Should there not be any common ground between the two? What will be the line of action, the next line of action for the NCC? That's my first question. My next question has to do with Slavko Matic, newly appointed coach. Is that a press conference talking about the purpose and whatever he's in for as House of Folk? Now, looking at his record, it's really poor. But the thing is, once he's already been appointed, one will see, well, the milk has already been spilled. Why don't the NCC back him so that we all have one common direction? My third question has to do with what is the main NCC's point in terms of the direction they want House of Folk to head towards? Thank you.
I'm Randy, the public person. May I know why the NCC PR is not around
Okay, so please can the place be quiet a bit? Okay, so the first question is Samuel Boyd, isn't it? Yes, the NCC has no position on Samuel Boyd, he's gone. and we've moved on. We want to entreat all supporters that Samuel Bodu is no longer a coach of Accra Folk. It's high time we accept the fact and move on. Thank you very much. Okay, the problems or the discord between NCC and the board, what are we doing about it? Is that a question?
No. The question is, should there not be any common ground between the two parties? What would be the NCC's next line of action?
Oh, okay. An end to what is going on, isn't it? Okay, now let me emphasize on the structure of the board, okay? Dr. Nyawutamaklu is on the board representing patrons, okay? Madam Ivy Eward Mills is on the board representing the ladies, okay? They were not just put on the board. They were put on the board so that when issues like this, okay, pops up, they, with their level of experience, because they've been on the old board, they've been on previous board, and that is why sometimes I must state emphatically that we get disappointed in some of the board members. Our attention is not only on Alhaji Akambi and Mr. Odotei, but some of the board members, especially those who have been on the board for so long. This is not the procedure of settling scores in the club. Ideally, that was why I said we were expecting the board. That was why when we learned that the board was going to do their press conference yesterday, we were expecting that the patrons on the board would have advised that the organs be invited into a meeting to settle. But they chose this path and rather failed to acknowledge our role in the club. And no, we have to set the record straight. That is why we are not finding solutions. I think that they are the highest decision-making body of the club. We are there supporting them. But if there are problems, they should be in a position. We must all humble ourselves. We must all put everything aside and look at the name of Accra Folk and not individuals. We come together and we look at the way forward. Thank you very much. I think my deputy PRO will answer the one that has to do with his boss.
Thank you very much. I think for me, I think his absence is deliberate because I called him and he didn't pick up. For me, Hobby Jones has never been the PRO of NCC because at any given opportunity that he had to speak on radio or any platform, I mean, he doesn't speak like an NCC PRO. And I think it is not that I'm trying to describe what he does, but I have complained over and over. But I believe that on Saturday, when we have our meeting, definitely we're going to discuss about him and see how best we can put his position on the right, direction. Because as NCC PRO, I believe that anywhere, anytime you find yourself, you have to, act as an NCC PRO. Is it not surprised that he's not here? You understand? Some of you that you are his friends, you if you like call him right now, ask him. He will tell you he's not aware. Yes, call him right now and ask why is he not here. He will tell you he's not aware. And if you have such a PRO, what kind of communication? I mean, what kind of communication are you sending to your fans? You understand? So Saturday we're gonna meet and we'll take a decision. Thank you.
Please let me add. There was a question pertaining to the new coach, which I failed to answer. I think the name is Slavko Mati. Very good, very good, very good. Anyway, I met the coach on Sunday when I had that misunderstanding with Mr. Odotei. He came to tell me he was going to fix it. I don't know what he was going to fix, but I just hope. Let me say that we supporters in the National Chapters Committee, he has got our full support. So if Mr. Slavko Matic, is the name right? Matic, okay. If he's listening to me, the National Chapters Committee is going to offer him all the necessary support. But, underline, we wish or we hope that he's going to get the free hands to work. We want to ask him to be very fair and do his work as he was trained as a coach. That is our position on him. Since he's in, I think he's been informed that as for Arsenal supporters, we demand a lot. So he's coming to win us the league, especially when the rare men are there. So we know. Okay. So Mr. Slatko Macic, you are welcome. The NCC is going to support you. And we hope that you get the necessary support from the board and management. Thank you very much.
Chairman. Hello. Hello. Yeah, good afternoon. Chairman, my name is Nyadama Ankra, Grower Chapter 89. I think the last time we gathered here for a press briefer like this, I think it was about the package, the juice package the NCC launched. And I recall I was there myself. You've been asked this question on radio sometime, I think it's about 2 weeks ago or so, when you were on Asampa, about how the NCC generates its internal revenue to support your programs, like what happened during the week prior to the match on Sunday. You mentioned that when the NCC launched this, it wasn't too long, the team also launched their Phobia for Life. Has there been any amicable agreement at some point where the NCC can state to the press or to the supporters that yes, we've been able to meet the board or the management, and then the NCC is getting a certain percentage to support your responsibilities or your duties? Thank you very much.
I would like to answer this question that way. I would like to answer it. It's very important. Okay, so that is right. The NCC first launched our dues concept that supporters will pay digitally, okay? In fact, it was working very well. In 3 months or in 4 months, we were making a lot of money. A lot of money was coming into our account, which was going to, enable us to do a lot of projects. Unfortunately, and to our surprise, the club did not even invite us to a meeting. On the day of the launching of the jerseys, the last season's jerseys, okay, it was on that day that the commercial manager informed the NCC and the general public that we were also launching a new thing known as Phobia for Life. Now, afterwards, we met with the commercial manager, very, very, very good person, very, very, very effective commercial manager in the person of Mr. Francis Afulani. We held a meeting with him at the Alisa Hotel, and in fact, you could see that we're making progress. We discussed a lot of things on how we can merge the two, okay, to have one dues procedure. Unfortunately, Mr. Afulani resigned. Yes, unfortunately, Mr. Afulani resigned. So, I want to assure the supporters that the NCC is not relenting. We are coming very soon to introduce a new concept. And the supporters who believe in the NCC and the role we play, very soon we'll launch a new concept. We are going to introduce a new short code for you people to pay your dues through the NCC. You people watched the press conference yesterday, and if you've not watched it, go and watch it again. You will know that you are not part of the plans of the club. The supporters are not regarded. So, we are not telling anybody not to subscribe to Phobia for Life, not to do this, not to do that. But since the club has decided to go solo, we also have our membership, and very soon we will introduce our own, so that they pay digitally and also manually, or unless something different happens. But until then, we are talking to some business people to roll out that project. Thank you very much.
Any further
Okay, so our closing remarks is that we are appealing to the board chairman. Yesterday, it was said that their communication to the supporters is very poor. Yes, we admit that communication is a problem in our club. 2-3 seasons ago, the club put up a press release that Assembly Power is the new sponsors of Accra Hearts of Oak. In the press release, we saw how much Assembly was paying to Accra Hearts of Oak for 1 year. It's been 3 seasons now and no news. So obviously I agree with the board chairman that communication is not effective. So we want to know, as part of our closing remarks, how much Assembly is paying or has paid in the last 2 years apart from the first year. Communication, we want to know. We want to be communicated to. We've not been to AGM, and we appreciate the fact that the board chairman said on the 30th we will be going for the AGM. That is a kudos to the board chairman. We appreciate it, and we pray that it is not postponed further. In that regard, before the AGM, we've not also heard anything about how much is invested so far in the construction of the new secretariat and also Pobiman. Since we've not been going for AGM, ideally we expect that supporters will know. Even player transfer, the media yesterday didn't ask questions. We want to attain preeminence, and if we want to attain preeminence, you people should know, the media, that all over the world, when players are sold or are bought, it is announced, isn't it? Yes. But in Hearts of Oak, we don't know. So this request, we are appealing to the board chairman, and we agree with him that communication is very poor. So in the coming days, we expect that it will be communicated to us how much is being invested so far in the construction that is ongoing at our new headquarters. Very, very nice edifice. We also want to know how much is invested so far in the Pobiman project. Well, we were told by the board chairman yesterday that a project that an expert will come out and say it will cost a certain amount. Alaji, who doesn't have a degree in engineering, could also reduce the price, and that the board chairman appreciates a lot. Now, when it rains in Pobiman, we understand that the boys cannot train. That is Alaji's project. So we want to know how much is being invested so far in Pobiman. We want to know how much is being invested so far in the new construction, of the secretariat, or if those things will come up at the AGM, that is also fair enough. That is also fair enough. But until then, if the board can provide us with details, most of the supporters, they've been asking, they want to know. They appreciate the beautiful edifice, but they want to know how much is gone in so far. We know that the board chairman is investing a lot, and we appreciate it. But no supporter of Hearts of Oak knows how much the board chairman has invested, and that is very unfortunate. Thank you very much.
Please let me add that as a shareholder of Accra Hearts of Oak, the last time we went for AGM, we got our annual report at the venue, so we were not able to scrutinize what was in the report. So it is a request that if the annual AGM will come on the 30th, shareholders should receive the annual report 2 weeks prior to the AGM, so they can go through it, prepare their questions, because there will be a lot of questions. If you have not held AGM for 3 years, you will definitely have a lot of questions to answer. And so if we get there and then they give you the annual reports, we may not be able to go through and ask questions. And so we want him to come clean. Let us receive annual report of the club before we even come to the AGM. This is a request from a shareholder, not just a supporter. Thank you.
This is a bit of information. some of the media guys have been asking about the locus of supporters, especially in the era of shareholders. They think that in the activities of the club. But let me put it on record that some chapters are shareholders of the club, and the NCC is the representative of the chapters. And therefore, let me give you a few examples of chapters who are shareholders, yes. Which means that the 4 is chapter O. On number 164 is chapter 108, Old Safo Kumasi. On number 235 of the shareholders list, Vision Supporters Union. This supporters union was gradually becoming a chapter, but they were not inaugurated. But because of the ties, that was how we have christened them. So you move from supporters union before you become a chapter by inauguration. So when we say supporters union, it means you are not a fully fledged chapter. You are growing to become a chapter to be inaugurated. So Vision Supporters Union is 235 position. Number 310 is chapter 105, Marku Kumasi. On the list, 340 is chapter 98, Dunkwao on Fin. 370 is chapter 29, Boko. 501 on the list is chapter 10, Abuabo. They also bought shares. On the list, 763 is chapter Atosu, Kumasi. Number 822 is Bomsu Supporters Union, Kumasi. They have not become a chapter. On number 962 is chapter 15, Accra New Town. All these chapters bought shares as a group. So nobody should sit anywhere and say that supporters don't contribute. You have no say in the club. At least the NCC has its members who are bought shares and are shareholders of the club, and therefore the NCC, the amalgamation of all these chapters culminates between the NCC. Therefore, the NCC is a major stakeholder, even when it comes to shareholding structure.
Thank you.
This is a bit of information that I'm giving you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so before we close, Mamaga will give us our phobia anthem, then we do the closing prayer. Oh, another question?
I just want you to respond to something which was flying in the media. This week, I think after the game, TT Brothers came on air and said the club is no more for the supporters, and the club is no more a traditional team. I think a lot of people didn't understand what he said. If you can clarify that or respond to that.
Oh, I also listened to him, and let me state emphatically. Yes, I listened to him on Asempa. Is it not the night show?
Yes.
Yes. Let me state emphatically that the NCC disagrees with him. The NCC disagrees with Mr. Titi, that is Mr. Tete. And sometimes it is so unfortunate that some of our old board members will speak in that manner when they know the truth on the ground. So it's unfortunate he has the freedom to express his opinion on issues, but I want to state on record that the NCC disagrees with him. And I want to buttress this with what Mr. Mansour Sadri just read to you, that the NCC has more than 10 of its members on the shareholders list. So how can Mr. Titi or Mr. Tete come out and say that the club does not belong to? No, we have the majority shareholder and we have the minority shareholders. Okay? Yeah, thank you. So Mamaga, let's go.
On behalf of the National Chapters Committee, we thank you all and sundry for coming. God richly bless you. We are coming to sing. You know, House of Folk is full of singing. Glorious House of Folk, our mother clap, our father clap. Red, yellow, and blue is our colors. Beautiful and glorious House of Folk. Glorious House of Folk. We will build a great foundation with our colors, red, yellow, and blue. House 11 is a. Please sing. Our House 11 is a mighty team. House 11 is a mighty team. Arose, arose, arose. Be quiet and don't be silly. We are the famous House of Folk. We never say that.
Be quiet and don't be silly. Odotei, we are famous House of Folk. We never say that.
Islamic praise. Islamic praise.
Sallu ala Nabi Kareem.
Amen.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. We thank Almighty God for guiding us to come through this short briefing. For those of you who are able to make it, we pray to Almighty Allah to take you back to your various homes and various stations. We pray that everybody will get home safely. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم كل وليك الحجة من حسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
صلوا على النبي الكريم.
اللهم صل على
The media, can we see our financial secretary, please?
The media people, we don't convince people, we don't give them anything. We know they don't give them anything.
Please, the media should see our financial secretary. Thank you.
Thank you.